Where the fuck was Heorot? Unearthing Beowulf's legendary Mead Hall. Beowulf or Sunday. So, today we're talking about a historical debate surrounding one of the most iconic structures in Old English literature. Heorot, Hrothgar's legendary Mead Hall. You know the one, where the beer flowed, the boats boomed, and Grendel eventually showed up to ruin Beowulf's sleepover. Was this magnificent hall just a figment of a poet's imagination, or did it actually exist? That is the question we're going to try and answer today. And if so, where the hell was it? For centuries, just scratch my nose. For centuries, scholars have bickered, debated, and even dug for answers. And while we might never 100% be certain, this is ancient history after all, the smart money is on one particular spot in Denmark. Our prime suspects, the place that keeps popping up in every serious discussion, is Lejre. It's on the north coast of the island of Zealand, which is where New Zealand gets its name from, I suppose. If you ever visit, you'll see ancient grave mounds scattered everywhere, telltale signs of a place steeped in history. Now, proving Lejre is Heorot isn't as simple as slapping a Hrothgar was here plaque on a commemorative bench. There's two big hurdles we need to jump. Two questions that have kept academics scratching their heads for years. First off, is the modern village of Lejre the same place? The same Lejre, the same Lothran, as it was once called, where the legendary Viking king Hrothgar actually ruled? Check last video. And second, was Hrothgar's Lejre built on the very site that Hrothgar once stood? There is actually no evidence that Heorot itself existed, but there is evidence that there was a really big mead hall at this place, Lejre. Even in the late 19th century, monuments work like perhaps, what is that? Kongregats, Denmark? I'll put it up here. They had their doubts. Yet Danish chronicles like Sweyn Angson, back in the 13th century, had absolutely no doubts. For them, the little village of Lejre near Roskilde was the fabled Lejre of story, the seat of the famous Hrothgar. And those burial mounds? Well, they're from the Bronze and the Stone Age, centuries before Beowulf's poem was even conceived. They don't contradict the idea of Hrothgar holding court there. They just add to the mystique. The consensus is building, folks. Old Lejre and New Lejre are the same, and Hrothgar was definitely there, no question. If Lejre was Hrothgar's seat, Danish chroniclers suggest it was also the stomping ground for his predecessors. Talking Ro, that's Hrothgar to us English speakers, and even Rolf's father, Olga. Olga was Hrothgar's brother. Ro enriched it with magnificence, we're told. It's a pretty apt description, wouldn't you say, for the sheer grandiosity implied by Heorot in the poem. This wasn't just a big shed, it was a palace. It was monumentally huge. The names themselves offer a tantalising clue and a bit of a historical breadcrumbing. Hrothgar and Hrolf are tied to Heorot in English tradition, just as Ro and Rolf are tied to Lejre in Danish chronicles. It's like a historical game of Chinese whispers that actually came close to the mark. A whisper across centuries that still echoes today. Naturally, some blokes have their knickers in a twist about this whole identification, because history, my friends, is ambiguous at best, and scholars love a good scrap. Two main reasons led some scholars to doubt Hrothgar's connection to Lejre and argue Heorot is elsewhere. Hrothgar is so intertwined with Lejre that he often overshadows good old Hrothgar. The historian Saxo, for example, even claimed Hrothgar founded Lejre in Book 2 of his grand work. If that's true, then Hrothgar couldn't have built Heorot. It would be like saying Shakespeare built London. Doesn't really make any sense. Since Ro, that's Hrothgar again, is credited with founding Roskilde or Rose Spring, some bright spark wanted to relocate Heorot there, make a new claim. Why we can never achieve 100% stone cold certainty with these ancient texts and archaeological whispers. The evidence is overwhelmingly points to Lejre as the most likely site for Heorot. Even when you read the poem itself, the geography is kind of the same. It fits the geography. The historical chronicles link it to Hrothgar's lineage, and as we've seen, even the self-contradictory Saxo ends up bolstering this claim. As Professor Fred C. Robinson, a serious academic, put it, the modern Danish village of Lejre can be fixed with fair confidence as the actual location of Heorot. again, did Heorot itself actually exist, or was it just a big mead hall that we'd name it Heorot? Or was it even called Heorot? John Niles and Mary Jane Osborne even dedicated the 2007 book Beowulf and Lejre to the very topic. These aren't just guesses, these are the conclusions of academics who have dedicated their lives to this stuff. They've sifted through the muck and the mire of history, and this is what they've come up with. And frankly, that's good enough for me. Let the experts deal with it. We just, read their shit, and until a better argument comes along, we stick with it, right? Always look for evidence and verification in everything you do, including watching out-of-context videos on the internet. So the next time we read Beowulf and picture that magnificent hall imagined nestled among the ancient grave mounds of Lejre, a place where legend truly walks, where ancient Danes feasted and fought, a place where the echoes of ancient feasts and terrifying monsters' attacks might still linger in the Danish air. That's pretty cool. Almost makes you want to pick up a shovel and go dig yourself, doesn't it? Yeah, don't do that. You'll probably get arrested. Anyway, the YouTube algorithm believes you'll like this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Like the video if you like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.